Hi, Nigel. Look, I get it. You have to put out a little pithy post today because Labour are talking about immigration. And let's face it, that is the only platform that Reform, aka Farage's cult with an L, stand on. Firstly, you've made out that the launch of today's white paper is to do with reform. Except it's not, is it? It was literally part of their manifesto. So they sort of have to deliver on it, Nigel, because some people, like grown-up politicians, they have to try to deliver on the things that they promise. You should try it one day. Now, bear with me on the next part, Nigel, because this gets a little bit complicated. Every time the UK has a national discussion around immigration, you talk about stop the boats, because you want people to think that the boat people coming over here are a larger percentage of immigrants than they really are. You see, in reality, it's just 3% of the immigrants come over via a boat. I mean, it begs the question, doesn't it, Nigel, why our media is dominated with stop the boats when actually it's such a tiny percentage. But of course, what they want to do is every time immigration is spoken about, and is spoken about in the millions, everybody wants to make the correlation that it's to do with the boats, even though it's not. But anyway, I digress. But you see, the thing is, Nigel, I'm old enough to remember life pre-Brexit, and therefore I remember that we didn't used to have this problem back then. But that's because Brexit created the stop the boats crisis. In other words, you're part of the problem here, Nigel. So essentially, when you keep posting out things like how many people have crossed the channel today, you're essentially the arsonist going, oh, look, everybody, there's a fire. But you're clearly worried about Starmer, Nigel, because you've thrown everything into this post. Also with how many Iranian terrorists are on those boats, trying to tap into people's concerns after the other day that one of the Iranian terrorists that were arrested, it's being claimed, were one of the boat people, though that's not been verified yet. But of course, you don't care whether it's a fact that's verified or not. You just want to ask the question. The difficulty for you, Nigel, is very real, because if we take the right-wing media out of the equation, Starmer is proving to be a very effective leader. Trade deals with India are heads of term with the US. Looks like we're going to have a nice reset with the EU, which will help our economic growth, because, again, Brexit killed that, Nigel. You're right in the middle of that as well. We've got falling NHS waiting lists, whereas, Nigel, you want to reform the NHS and make it an insurance-based service. So Starmer seems to be a man of action, even in terms of looking for world peace with Ukraine and Russia, whereas you, Nigel, were a Putin apologist saying, well, it's Ukraine's own fault that they got invaded. So as Starmer's going out there and actually doing things, you're still harping on the sidelines, pointing and going, but what about the boats? I know I created the problem, but what about them? I mean, it's quite pathetic, really, when you think about it, isn't it, Nigel? Anyway, good chats, as you were.